A wonderful morning to everyone who has joined today. From Manage Engine family, we would like to extend our warm welcome and sincere thanks to all our customers, partners, and users who are interested in our solution. Endpoint management and security is one of the main focus areas of the Manage Engine. Let me introduce myself. My name is Cyril Raja, and I'm a product specialist with Manage Engine. I take care of the endpoint management products, including Desktop Center. And also, I'm a seasoned technical support engineer assisting customers in their implementation, consultation, and troubleshooting in case of any challenges. In today's webinar, we will focus on endpoint management solution, which has different product portfolios under management and security. During today's session, we will be discussing Desktop Central Suite, which has management and security capabilities. Once again, welcome to Desktop Central training. Let us look at today's training schedule. We are on the last week of season 1, which is configuration and hidden tricks. This is one of the module of our endpoint management and security suite. We have covered a couple of models over the past week, and we are currently running on week 6 of this training session. In case if you have missed any of our training schedules, you can always view them on the link that is shown at the bottom of the screen. If you are interested in the upcoming training series, please use the same link to register yourself. Now, we offer participant certification to all the attendees in this session. Please note that your participation certificate includes series 1, 2, and 3. You can visit to the below URL, which is in this screen, that is www.manageengine.com/ems/free-training. Let's look at today's morning schedule, that is configuration and hidden tricks. Before stepping into the training, I will quickly run through the agenda. We will have an overview of Desktop Central. Then we will be having a look at the architecture behind how Desktop Central works and how effectively we can manage work from home machines. Also, since we are adapting the new normal, now most of your employees might be returning to office again weekly once here. In this case, we can see what are the configuration which used to arrest the security threats from the edge itself. With regards to configuration and hidden tricks, which is that today's training session is about, we will look at some scenarios, including how we can configure a baseline configuration and roll out USB configuration to all the machines in your infrastructure. We will be also discussing some frequently asked questions with respect to configuration and this particular module. In fact, even during the training, if you have any questions, please feel free to chat using the chat window. I have an expert panel with me who are ready to answer all your questions. What is Desktop Central? Desktop Central is an endpoint management solution that ensures all your endpoints are secure and enable the users to use them effectively for business. A popular research analyst called Forrester defines UEM as follows: product that provides a centralized policy engine for managing and securing employee laptops and mobile devices from a single console. In unified endpoint management, you can manage endpoints in a traditional IT management fashion. This includes patch management, application management, configuration deployment, OS deployment, tools for troubleshooting, and day-to-day management activities. Similarly, endpoints can be also managed with modern management. That includes, so all the modern operating system supports modern management. It supports features like geo-tracking, geo-fencing, managing store application, profile distribution to enforce restrictions, operating system reset and recovery. Can you guess the popular operating system when I say modern operating system? Yes, you are correct. If you're thinking about Windows 10, yes, Windows 10 is a classic example in which we can manage both traditional and modern management. Desktop Central can manage both the world's traditional and modern from a single console. These are the features you can leverage when you are using Desktop Central as a unified endpoint management and security solution. We have patch management, which take care of operating system and third-party application patching. We have application management, asset management, and configuration. And we also have released few security add-ons that includes vulnerability management. This will help you to detect the vulnerability and remediate the same. And we also have our DLP for the devices. And we also have a OS deployer. And we also have a browser security product that will helps you to manage your add-ons in the browsers, and you can do the browser routing from the product. So all these features bundled up, and you can have it on the centralized UI, that is Desktop Central. With so these are the type of machines we can manage. We can manage laptops, desktops, mobiles and tablets, servers, point of sale devices, and even browsers. Desktop Central is recognized for Best Unified Endpoint Management Tool of 2019 as reviewed by customers in Gartner Peer Insights Customers' Choice Award. We are recognized for Unified Endpoint Management in Magic Quadrant for the second consecutive year. We are recognized for both traditional and modern management. So let's look at how Desktop Central works. Desktop Central is a client-server model application and an on-premises solution. You can have Desktop Central hosted in any one of the supporting operating systems. This architecture talks about how you can manage the machines in a WAN architecture. You can manage different remote locations from one console. They can connect either over the internet or using a VPN or MPLS connection. For the machines that are present in the remote site, which are connected over a direct internet connection, you can use a component called a secure gateway server. Your secure gateway server is a server that bridges the agent communication to the central server security when the machines are in a different network or in an internet. When it comes to remote location, we have a component called distribution server, which is used to throttle bandwidth for the data traffic between the central server and the remote location. We will talk about this in detail as we go into the training. We can choose to have the machines communicate either directly with Desktop Central server or along with the distribution server. You will be also able to manage all your mobile devices using Secure Gateway 2. With Desktop Central, you can manage machines in multiple domains as well as in workgroups. You can deploy configuration targeting active groups or Active Directory groups or organizational units. So this is how the Desktop Central works in terms of WAN. When it comes to closed network, so what is a closed network? A network which does not have a connectivity to internet or limited connectivity is called as closed network. Even if you have a closed network architecture, you can still use Desktop Central to manage your endpoints. Now, Desktop Central is also available as a cloud service. You can sign up with the help of the below URL. In case if you need this URL, you can very well chat with our chat panel to get this URL. So the advantage of having a cloud services, we will be maintaining the hardwares, and there's no need for a public IP in case if you want to manage the roaming users, and also there's no need for a failover here. And Desktop Central is also available in AWS Marketplace and Azure. In case you are looking to host Desktop Central in any one of the cloud server, you can use AWS or Azure as of now. So what are the components that you need to run this application? These are essential as well as optional components. The Desktop Central Server is a central component that you will install. It will provide the interface to the management console. The agent is an essential component. You need the agent to be installed on the machine that you want to manage. Since it works on a client server model, an agent to be installed on the end user's machine. It's going to be a lightweight agent. There is another component called the notification server, and this is an interesting component. We will talk more about this once we go into the product. When we look at the optional components, we have a distribution server, which serves as a repository for patches, softwares, as well as scripts that you have deployed to the machines in a remote location. We can create unique replication policies for each location as per the bandwidth requirement with the help of the distribution server configuration. And we have a secure gateway server. This is useful if you are going to manage machines that are not part of the LAN or connecting over the internet. I will be explaining to you in a greater detail in the upcoming slides. We also have a failover server. In case if you want to have high availability, you can make use of this. This is separately licensed. Moreover, you can also use a language path to list the web console in your preferred language. These are the three operating systems we are supporting as of now: Windows, Macintosh, and Linux. And these are the supported OS from the product. So you can manage Windows Client OS, Windows Server OS, Mac OS, as well as Linux kernels, which is Ubuntu, Debian, Red Hat, CentOS, Fedora, Mandriva, Linux Mint, OpenSUSE, and SUSE Enterprise, as well as Parados. So you can patch those endpoints with the help of the product. So next, we talk about the agent installation methods. So since it works on a client server model, as I told earlier, we need to install the agent in all your endpoints to manage it. So to facilitate agent installation, we recommend three methods. One is via group policy. You can push it as a startup script. Next, you can integrate your Active Directory and you can push the agent from the console. And the third one, either it's a manual or we will be giving you a script that will install the agent with the help of an IP address. This will helpful for the machines which is on workload. Then we have a 90 minutes refresh policy. So Desktop Central can scale small as well as large networks using our 90 minutes refresh policy. So what is 90 minutes refresh policy? Every time agent communicates with Desktop Central once in 90 minutes. So every 90 minutes, the agent on the other end communicate to the Desktop Central and get the instructions. Even if you have 90 machines or 900 or even 9,000 machines, the 90 minutes will be divided between them and each machine will be given a specific time to talk with the server. The server has the intelligence to assign a time for each client to talk to the server. This is to avoid network congestion or bandwidth related issues. So the 90 minutes refresh policy is designed in such a way that the load of the server will split evenly. And next, we will talk about the ports. Since Desktop Central is an on-prem solution, we have to open few ports for the agent server communication and the rest of the features to get it work. So Desktop Central runs primarily on two ports, 8383, which is HTTPS, or 8020, which is HTTP. All the agent talks to the server using this port. There is another port, 8027, which is a TCP one. This is used by the notification server. So this port is used for all the on-demand activities, like if you want to deploy a patch on demand, or if you want to do a patch scan on demand, or if you want to take a remote control of the end user's machine on demand. Those on-demand operations will be achieved with the help of this port 8027. I will explain you in a greater detail in the upcoming slides. Apart from these two ports, there are other optional ports that you need to open. The important ports are listed in the screen. You can keep the respective ports open as per your requirements. For example, if you want to take a remote control, you need to open the port either 8443 or 844. If I want to transfer the file during the remote session, I have to open the port 8031 or 8032. So these are not like a default one. You can very well change the ports as per your infrastructure needs. So let me take to the actual agenda today. So why configuration? Desktop Central offers configuration that helps administrators manage system settings, desktop settings, and security policies from the central console. So even though the machine's on the same network or in the different network, you can push the security restrictions from the central console. And also it automates day-to-day system administration jobs. And also it will protect your network and remediate your computers from data breaches and vulnerabilities. Let us see how we deploy Desktop Central in an enterprise, which is managing around 10,000 endpoints. So it is going to be the typical architecture before the COVID. So for example, consider myself as John, and my team is responsible for managing this infrastructure. Here I have my corporate office in Dallas and 3 more remote offices. One is in London, and another one is Chennai, and another one is Bogota. And we have remote users who is working in Sydney. They used to connect over the VPN to my corporate infrastructure to access the resources and to run the daily BAUs. So now, in this situation, most of the users, around 80 to 90% of the users, are working from home. They are forced to work from home because of the situation. So you'll be having 3 types of users in those work from home scenarios. So here, they are regular VPN users, the first type of one. For them, we have already defined the policy, so there's no need for any changes. For example, the employees in Sydney, they are working remotely. So whenever there is a need, they will connect it to the VPN, and then they will work or they will run the daily task. And the second set of users, so the new users, we have to provide VPN for work from home. These are the users used to come to office before pandemic, and now because of the COVID, they are forced to work from home. For them, I have to create a new security hardening policies or VPN profiles, and I have to make them, mobilize them, or I have to make as soon as possible to work from home without any delay. So these are the second one. The third one, those users, they can work without connecting to the VPN. That means all my applications are cloud oriented. So without accessing my infrastructure with the help of a VPN, they just need an internet connection to access their SaaS portal to get this daily task done. So even though I have 3 different set of users in the work from home scenarios, I have to manage, that's my work here. So with Desktop Central, let's see how we can manage the users even though they are working from home, or if they are coming back to office also, how we can manage. So how we can generalize a work from home scenario, or what are the challenges an IT admin will face in case if the users are working from home here. So we have to enable the work from home feature for them, like we have to define a gateway, or we have to create deploy the VPN clients to them, and then we have to create a or else I have to move my application to cloud, or I have to open few ports to get the application ready from the outside world to get it access. And another one, like managing work from home devices. So the server side, everything is ready. That means my infrastructure is ready. The users can access anywhere, but the end user should have a machine to get it access. Either it should be a new device or the user own device, or else in the most of the scenarios, the user will be using their own internet. So with the help of the internet, they will be connecting to the VPN and get it managed. So in case if they are using, or if they are connecting from the outer world, the risk of attack is more here. So in this case, I have to secure those work from home devices. So with the help of Desktop Central, you can make an endpoint lockdown. That means I can define what are the applications or what are the buttons or tabs or the drives they can access in the end user's machine by pushing some security policies. Likewise, we have some security add-ons. As I told earlier, we have a security add-on, which is Vulnerability Manager, which will helpful for us to understood what exactly the vulnerability on that particular machine, and we can remediate the same with the help of Desktop Center. And we also have a data lock prevention. So you can very well prevent like access of unwanted devices, either it's a normal thumb drive or an external hard drive. So you can very well access it. So you can very well restrict the same, and you can define the browser rules, like what type of websites need to be accessed, or in case there is some kind of rendering happening on the unwanted sites, you can very well block that rendering activities, those things. And you can also very well push the BitLocker encryption in case of a new device shipping it from the OEM directly to the employee. I can very well push the BitLocker restrictions from the central console. So all these things in terms of securing work from home devices that can be done from the product. And again, so now I will explain how we can deploy Desktop Central in an infrastructure and how we can manage the users working from home as well as in the office. So since most of my users are working from home, the first thing I have to configure here is a secure gateway. So first of all, let me install the Desktop Central server here. So Desktop Central server here, let me take you to the product. So you can download the product from the Manage Engine website. So if you want to get this link, you can get it from the chat team. You can download the product, and you can spin up a VM or an Azure or an AWS instance with as per your hardware sizing. So for example, in case if I want to manage around 10,000 machines, this is going to be my hardware sizing. I can spin up a VM or a physical machine here, and I can install any one of these OS. Either it's a Windows Server 2019 or 16, I can install the product in the server OS. So that will helpful for me to get the UI of Desktop Central. So it will looks like this. So the Desktop Central, it's hardly take 20 minutes to install the product. It's just like a plug and play installation. Once the installation is done, you can see the product here. The exe which you have downloaded from the site, it comes with the database itself. So it comes with the default PGSQL database, and it will scale up to 7,000 endpoints. So this is how the console looks like. So next, since I want to manage the users who is working from home, I want to configure the secure gateway server here. So I could see how a secure gateway plays if a machine is accessing from an external network. So I can deploy a secure gateway server in a DMZ zone. So let me run through a quick video, how we can configure it. So first, we will be defining what would be the public IP or a public FQDN in the Desktop Central console. So you'll be defining a public IP or a public FQDN here. Then in a new machine, which is on my DMZ zone, I will be installing the secure gateway server. So you can download the component under the admin security settings, secure gateway server. So I can download the product from here. So it is a kind of a plug and play installation. It's an exe file. It's around 150 MB of an exe file. You can download it. So I already have it downloaded here. So I can run this one. So in the setup, I'll be giving the Desktop Central server IP. Either it's a server IP or a machine name. I'll be putting out in these boxes. So the server name, what is the port which is used for communication? So here we are using HTTPS. So the port is 8383, that is the default port, and the username and password. So the login credential of the desktop center. So it will validate it. So during this time, it will interchange, or it will copy the certificate from the desktop central server to the secure gateway and then get it configured. So it just takes 5 to 6 minutes to configure desktop central secure gateway here. So once installation is done, you can see the status of the secure gateway in the UI itself. So you can see the status is it's active or down from the console itself in the desktop central under admin secure gateway server. You can see the status also here. So here you can see the status, and it's what is the certificate status, syncing or not, and what is how the communication looks like from the outer world. Everything will be looked up from here. So that's how you configure secure gateway server. So now I have my desktop central server ready and my secure gateway server ready. So next thing, I can start installing the agent to the end user's machine. As I already informed, since it works on a client server model, I have to install an agent. So for installing an agent from the console, so I can very well goes under admin domain. I can integrate my domain here. So I can add my domain. So I can give my domain name and the username and password. It should be a domain admin. So the reason why we ask the domain admin is every time whenever I'm initiating the uh, an agent installation, it will access the admin $share of the end user's machine and then copy the agent binaries, and it will initiate the installation with the help of WMI. So it should have the privilege to copy and then it install. So once it's get integrated, you can able to see your domain here. Then you can add a computer from here. So it will list out all the containers you are having in your AD, and it will list out like this. So it will perform an LDAP sync, and it will list out all the computer objects. You can select which computers you want to install the agent. So you could see I already selected 4 computers here. So once you click install agent, these machines will get the agent from the console itself. So this is one way. And another way, we also have an option to deploy the agent with the help of a GPU too. So I can very well install the agent with the help of GPU2, with the help of the product. So we will be giving a startup script in terms of a PowerShell or a VB script. You can very well install the agent here. And next thing, so for the users, for example, in case if they are working from home, so you need to create a separate agent for the users working from home and a separate agent for the users in the office. So let us take, for example, I'm going to create an agent for the roaming users. So here, the server IP, it should be the public IP of secure gateway server. So here it should be the direct communication. That means the machine will directly contact to the desktop central server to get the agents. So you can create a policies like what should be the replication rate, even though they are connecting directly. So it will not choke my network bandwidth here. So I can define what data transfer rate I can use to transfer the binaries from my master server to the remote agents. I can define and I can assign the same. So I will be using this agent for the users who is working from home. And I also have some users, they are coming back to office. So I want to install the agent and I want to manage them too. So in this case, I'll be creating another remote office. So which, for example, so in the London location, I have around 2000 machines. They are desktops here. So in order to manage it, I can create another remote office. I can manage it with the help of a distribution server. So because all the 2000 machines, if it's directly connect to my head office to connect the patch or software, it will choke my network bandwidth. So here I'm deploying a file server, that is our distribution server. I'm defining the machine name and the IP address. So this machine is actually resides on my London office. And I can define what is the replication policy I can use it for. For example, so here in my London office, I only have a 1 Mbps line. So in this case, I don't want to use entire 1 Mbps. I just want to use a 512 KB to transfer the patches and software. Even though I'm deploying a patch, the data transfer will take only at the pipe of 512 kbps here. And also I can define at what time I want to replicate the patches. So in case if I want to use this 512 kbps in my non-business hours, yes, we can define the same here. So this is my replication interval. So during my non-business hours only, it will replicate the patches to the end user's machine or the distribution server. From the distribution server, it will redistribute through intranet to the machines which is on my London location. So likewise, I can create multiple remote offices. So I have multiple remote offices here. So we have another interesting feature which is called IP scope. So for example, in case if an employee comes back to office after the pandemic over, you can define the IP scopes of each and every remote office here. So for example, the London office, I can define the IP scopes here so that whenever they step into my office or they plug into the LAN or they're connected to the Wi-Fi, we automatically understood this machine is inside the office. So I need to give the patches with the help of this distribution server. So it depends upon the IP scope, it will reach us to the nearest distribution server and get the patches. Likewise, if a machine is not in this particular IP scope, Desktop Central also understood in case if the machines are not part of this IP scope, I can very well map them as a roaming users here. So Desktop Central understood these machines are not in my network, they are in my outside network. So the patches and softwares will distribute over a public IP or a public FQDN through secure gateway server. So we have the logic to understood automatically what machines are stepping into the office, what machines are stepping out, or it's not in your infrastructure. So you can very well define the IP scopes. For sure, you'll be having the DHCP scopes for each and every location. If you define the DHCP scopes here, depends upon the IP range, it will reach us to the nearest distribution server. In case if it is not in that particular IP range, it will contact the Desktop Central over a public IP to get the patches and software. So your deployment will be happen 24/7 without a failure here. So that's how you install an agent and configure it. And so that's how you install an agent. So once the agent is installed, you can very well onboard it back to the product. So next, for example, so previously we have looked on how I can configure Desktop Central to a new infrastructure. In case if I'm already having Desktop Central, so I want to mobilize or I want to move the machine to, or I want to give the machine to the employees to make it work from home, we can very well do it. So there are two types of existing users we will be having. One, they will be, secure gateway server is already configured. So that is very much simple. So if there are LAN agents, that will be no issues here. And in case if they are remote office agents, so we will be just configuring them as a roaming user. It's nothing but you will be changing instead of through distribution server, I will be changed as a direct communication. That's all. So if I'm having already a secure gateway server installed, there'll be no issues here. In case if I'm configuring secure gateway server new to my infrastructure, so here even though it's a LAN agent or a roaming agent, if the laptop or desktops in the end user's home, they will be not able to get the patches of software because they are in a different network. In this case, we have a BAT, which in that BAT you will be feeding the server IP, the new server IP, either their public FQDN or a public IP, and run it on in each and every machine, so that the client will use that particular server IP and get it access to the Desktop Central server in the next time to get the patches and software. So I have a quick video for that too. So here, so in case if you want this link, you can get this link from our chat team. In case if you're an existing Desktop Central user, you can download this configure DC agent server communication.bat. You can download it. So in the BAT, I can feed the details like what is the new secure gateway server IP details, that is my public IP details. I can very well give it over here. So you could see previously the machine was communicating with the help of private IP or a private FQDN here. So now I'm going to change this to new one that is going to be our public IP or public FQDN. I'm just changing over it here. That is demo.desktopcentral.com. That is going to be our public FQDN. So I'm going to run this bat on the machines which is on the end users side. So the bat is ready. Now just execute this bat. So it will modify the existing registry values which is imprinted to the new one which I feed it now. So you can see it changes to demo.desktopcentral.com now. And the agent is also changed to demo.desktopcentral.com. So next time, whenever it needs a patch or a software, it will use that new FQDN to get it. So that's how it's a very easy task. You can very well manage your existing Desktop Central infrastructure also. You can deploy a new secure gateway server and you can just run this bat. So the next time it will contact to the master server. From that, you can deploy the patches or software, or you can take a remote control. And now, so now we are adapting to the new normal. So the employees are coming back to the office once in a week or bi-weekly basis here. So in this case, I have to make sure the endpoint should be locked on, and it makes sure because it is coming from an outside world to my corporate infrastructure. So I have to make sure it is not coming with any vulnerability here. So for that, we have some endpoint lockdown features here. So one of them is NAC, Network Access Control. This feature will help us to block the devices, or it will make the devices to your quarantine on my edge itself in case if it is having if it's not having a patch, if it's not patched properly, or if it is having any unwanted application, it will, even though it is connecting to my infrastructure, it will take it to the edge and move it to the quarantine one. Then I can very well deploy the patch or a software and make it as a compliance one, and then I can bring it back to my infrastructure. So I can see this, I believe, if you are following our training series, this set of features are explained in my software deployment training model here. And again, we have application control. You can very well define what application need to be whitelisted or blocklisted. That can be also done with help of the Desktop Center. And we also have an option to block the external hard drives or thumb drives. Or you can define what device which need to be excluded. That can be also the part of an endpoint lockdown. We will be seeing in a greater detail about how we can deploy an USB configuration to that end user's machine. Again, we also have an option to deploy the latest patches. So in case if the machine is coming outside, coming from an outside world, even it's stepping to your corporate infrastructure, you can deploy the patches too with the help of the product, and you can very well restrict the admin rights. For example, in case if they are like an admin user, you can, with the help of the product, you can very well manage their local users account too. You can very well remove that existing default admin account on the machine, and you can feed a new account to that. So these are the endpoint lockdown features we can do in case of a machine coming back to office here. So again, as I told, we will be seeing how we can configure USB device or a secure USB configuration with the help of the Desktop Center. So we are going to block all the USBs in the computer, and we are going to allow only managers to use USB drives, and make sure the managers are using only the encrypted devices. So I'm going to create a configuration to deploy this feature. So let me take back to the console. So under the configurations, so we have our own 32 predefined configurations for Windows. So it will completely eliminate your GPU dependency, starting from throwing a legal notice or deploying a certificate. So you can have all these features in same product. So it will completely eliminate your GPU dependency. And here we are going to deploy the secure USB. So here there are two types of configurations. One is user and the one is a computer. So in Windows, if you're deploying the base, even though in different computer log, it will deploy this startup automatically. Find this configuration as a computer one, it will limit it for that particular computer box alone. So now I'm using the computer configurations here. So I already have a configuration ready for it. So I'm going to block the external specific devices, or else only the encrypted devices. I can devices. In case if you want to exclude any specific instance ID, and also you can very well exclude any vendor-based instance IDs too. So they can need to be excluded, and then you can target two machines in my restricts feature or the restrictions. Now, so here I'm going to exclude the managers to get this configurations. Here have created a group called managers here. So these groupings can be done from the product itself. So you can create the groups in the product. So I have created a group called managers here. So even though 10,000 machines get this configuration, whatever the machines which is on the managers group, it will not get this here. So you can deploy this configuration to your a particular OU IP address or a specific operating system. You can very well narrow down it and you can deploy it. And you can also very well have an option to increase the, in order to increase get the high success rate, you can ask Desktop Central to deploy this configuration on every startup during the failure or every 90 minutes in terms of the failure. And you can also get the notification. So once the configuration is deployed, there's no need for an system admin to watch this configuration state. Email alert on it, what exactly happened on the other end. It succeeded or failed. You can get it from you. So once you click deploy or deploy immediately, this configuration will get deployed on the end user's machine. So the difference between deploy and deploy immediately. So if I click deploy, these machines will get the configuration in the next refresh cycle. That means during the next time it contact to the Desktop Central. So as I told earlier, every 90 minutes, Desktop Central agents, which is installed on the end user's machine, will contact to the server and get the job here. So if I click deploy, all this machine will get the configuration in its 90 minutes refresh cycle. If I click deploy immediately, this configuration will get deployed on demand. So for all the on-demand configuration, as I told earlier, we use the port 8027. Once I click deploy immediately, the 8027 port invokes the machine on the other end. That makes the machine to contact the server on demand itself to get the configuration. So this configuration will be transferred to the client in a form of an XML. The agent, which is installed on the end user's machine, interpret it and then get it installed. So that's how the configuration get deployed. So for example, I'm deploying this configuration here. So it will create a configuration like this, and I can see how many computers I'm in my deployment, what is the configuration I have used or I have defined for it, and what is the execution status. Is succeeded or failed? I can see the status from here. So it will give an overview about, in case if it is succeeded, it will give you in a green check mark here. So likewise, so whatever the configurations you are creating within the product, it will create a template for me. So you can very well modify the same configuration in case if you want to deploy to a different set of machines, you can do it. Or else I'm deploying to thousands of machines. Out of 1,000 machines, 100 machines got failed. In case if you want to deploy only to the failed targets, yes, we can very well do it. Once you click this option, it will create a duplicate configuration that will get deployed to the failed 100 machine itself. So every time you are creating something in Desktop Central, that will become a template for you. So there's no need for another time. Then you a system administrator have to create a configuration again. So that's how you deploy an USB configuration with the help of Desktop Central. The next part. So since in case if I'm working from home, I will be not actively contacting to my Active Directory here. So in this case, most of the organization might be using the local user management here. So, and moreover, so the configuration was quite helpful in this times, because all the machines which is on the outer world, it's not going to contact actively to your Active Directory. So whatever the startup scripts you are trying to deploy, it will not work here. So if you're having Desktop Central agent on it, you can very well achieve it without an AD communication here. So here I'm going to create a new user on the end user's machine. So I can go to the user management. So this is local user management. I can go to the computer. I can add a user. I can add a new user. I can define a password for, and I can change a password in case of an end user want to change the password. You can very well do the modification here, and you can remove a user, and also you can disable or enable a user from this UI. So you can define what set of configuration you want, and you can also ask Desktop Central to move that particular user to a specific group also. You can very well do it. Either it's an administrator group or a user group, a standard user group, you can very well move it. And then you can target it, which machine you want to deploy. So here I'm going to deploy to all the machines in my infrastructure. That's our group machines. And I'm going to narrow down. It's going to deploy to a particular uh, particular computers, 3 or 4 computers. I can choose them and I can deploy this configuration alone. And I can also make Desktop Central to apply this configuration on this every startup in case if it is not deployed properly or if it is removed during the next startup, this configuration will get redeployed and then it will apply the same. So likewise, once you click deploy or deploy immediately, it will create a configuration for me. I can see the status from here. So that's how you create a local user with the help of Desktop Center. And again, next thing, baseline configuration as a collection. So I have explained how you can create a configuration one by one and get it deployed. For example, I want to deploy a specific set of tasks when I am onboarding new machine to the product means. So that's no need for here. I need to create 5 tasks here. If I want to deploy 5 configuration, there's no need for creating a 5 task and get it deploy. I can create it as a single collection. So in a collection, I can define what type of deployment it need to be carried out. In case if it's a new machine, I want to make sure it should have a specific display configuration, or it should have these firewall ports need to be opened, and I want to deploy the legal notice to it. So and likewise, I can restrict the USB. So all this 4 configuration can be deployed in a single shot to the machine when it's get onboarded itself. So I can create it like a pattern, and so I already have a collection here. So here I have created a collection which will deploy certificate whenever it's having a Desktop Central agent, and it will give a permission to a particular folder to save the downloads or the daily routines here. And you can block the thumb drives, and I can create a new user for it. So all these 4 jobs will be get deployed in a single collection. So I can define what exactly needs to be done, like what are the devices need to be blocked or unblocked, and I can define what folder I have to give the permission for them. You can define a file level permission, folder level, as well as register level permission. And likewise, I can deploy the certificates too. And also I can create a new user, and then I can deploy to the targets. So whenever a new computer comes in, so it will get all these configurations automatically. So that's how you can deploy a collection with the help of Desktop Center. So likewise, we have a templates too with the help of the product. So every time, as I told earlier, whenever you are creating a new configuration, it will create a template for me. There are 2 types of template. One is user defined, other one is predefined. So user defined one, these are the one which you have created in case if you are having a service displays in your infrastructure, you can very well publish this template to service displays itself. So in case if an end user raise a ticket to map a printer, this template will helpful for me to achieve it. You can deploy it on the go itself, and you can close the ticket. Likewise, we have a predefined templates in case if you want to auto lock the PCs within 60 seconds, if it is an idle means, you can very well use this configuration and then get it deployed to the end user's machine. So likewise, you can use the predefined template, or you can create your own template and you can use it in your ticketing tool and get it addressed. And next, we will talk about some scenarios and solutions. These are the questions which I have added based on my support tickets, which I got from the end users. So the first one, so we completely rely on Desktop Central for system management and we cannot afford downtime. What should we do? So downtime is a major threat to any organization. In Desktop Central, we have a failover in case if your primary server went down or not reachable to the agent. The agent will talk to the secondary server automatically to deploy the configuration. The primary server and secondary server can be deployed in a different location. That means your DZ and DR. And if anyone fails, it will goes to the secondary server and get communicated and it will get the patches or software, or you can take a remote control without an intervention here. And those two servers should be having a shared database as well as the repositories. If an agent is not accessed, can that computer be configured to go unmanaged and free the license? Yes, we have an option in Desktop Central that is under the scope of management, which is called a scope of management policy. So we have an option to tell Desktop Central in case if a computer is not contacted for an n number of days, it will automatically send you an alert if you enable this, or else if you don't want to notify you, or if you want to delete it, yes, you can very well delete it from your management console and then it will notify to you. So deleting in the sense that will free up the license for you and then you can add another computer against that license. And other one, some of our computers go unmanaged quite often. Is there a way to fix it? So mostly the machines goes unmanaged means the end users might be stopping the service of Desktop Central agent, or they will be uninstalling Desktop Central from their computer. So to arrest this, we have an option under the agent settings. So it is a global settings. If I'm enable this option to restrict user from uninstalling from control panel and restrict user from stopping Desktop Central service, we can able to do it from here, so that the end users will not able to uninstall the product as well as stop the service, so that the machines will not go unmanaged hereafter. And it is painful to redeploy all the configuration each time we hire an employee and add a computer to your network. Is there a way to shorten? We can automate all the configuration. For example, in Desktop Central, whenever I'm deploying a configuration against a particular OU or a custom group, Desktop Central automatically deploy the configuration to the new machine, either in the system startup or during the new refresh cycle here. So there's no need for a system administrator to redeploy the configuration every time when he provision a new machine for a new employee. He just need to add the computer to a specific OU or a specific custom group that is created from the product. And again, I want Desktop Central to use the available system resource effectively for improved performance. What should I do? So we have an option to optimize the database. So it depends upon the RAM which I allocated to this particular machine. I can very well do the optimization here, so that my number of threads to the server will get handled very quickly. So it depends upon the memory consumption I increase. Desktop Central take the RAM and process the threads quite speed, and then it will enhance the performance of Desktop Central server as well as your deployment to here. Scenario 6, these business data breaches and cyber attacks of VSM, can Desktop Central configuration be of some help? Yes, in case if you could see some of the vulnerabilities which was notified by a security researcher or a white hat hacker. So if they will be also giving you a solution. The solution would be sometimes you need to run a script, or like if you want to change a registry settings on that every endpoint. So in this case, I can very well create a script and I can upload it from the product here. So I can add the script, and also we have a templates. We have around more than 200 templates here. In case if you need any help to arrest those vulnerability, you can very well raise a support ticket to us. We will help you with the script, and you can add the script in the script repository. These are the script types which you are supporting now, the Windows, Mac, and Linux. These are the script types. You can upload the script here. So once the script is get uploaded, you can deploy it with the help of Desktop Central under the custom script configuration. So here I can get the script from the repository in case if there is an argument need to be passed. Yes, I can add it. If there is any dependency file, I can very well add the dependency file. I can very well define when it's need to be deployed, the frequency, once or during every startup or during every 90 minutes or during every startup until a particular time. I can define it. In case, even though the end user is not having a privilege to execute the script, you can give your credential. So Desktop Central takes your credential and deploy the script in the background silently without the user intervention here. So that's how you can deploy a script to here with the help of the product. And again, scenario 7, I need to keep track on it as a data even when I'm away from my desk. Is this possible? Yes, we have mobile app, and you can download this app from app stores from both Google Play Store and Apple stores here. You can scan this QR code also. So you can very well scan this QR code and get the apps downloaded. So that will helpful for you to get to know what exactly happening. You can always see what is the patch deployment going on here, what is the asset data, asset details, and moreover in the new version we will be supporting to take a remote control too. With the help of a mobile app, you can very well take a remote control also. And the scenario 8, I want to restrict a technician to only access asset data. How can I do this? So in Desktop Central, we have multiple features lined up here, starting from configuration to remote control. So everything can be defined based on a role. So I can create a role. We do have some predefined rules. So in case if an end users want to, if a particular technician want to get to know the asset details of that particular endpoint, you can give an IT asset management role to him. Or else in case if you want to give any additional role to that particular IT asset manager, like he want to deploy some software in case if it is not there, or in case if you want to give some other additional role to any particular technicians, you can add your own role too with the help of the product. You can create your own customized role so that that particular feature will be visible to that technician. So when they log in case if they're having the role to patching, they just see the patch management. So they can only able to deploy the patch. So the administrator will be having the privilege to add or delete a new computer here. So you can have the role-based access and assign to the particular tasks based upon your requirement. Again, the scenario 9, I want to ensure my users recognize and trust the application. How do I achieve it? Desktop Central, we do have an option to rebrand it. You can rebrand the logos. So for example, the login logo as well as the agent image also, you can very well modify it. You can upload your company logos here. So this will helpful, or it will increase the trust of an end users on the other end. So your application is running on that end user's machine. So, and moreover, rebranding will helpful for you to, in case if I'm exporting a report, instead of managing in Desktop Central, your company logo will comes on top of it so that you can export the same. And I also have few questions. So that's the last part here. So I'll just quickly run through the questions here. Desktop Central allows you to block USB devices for particular IP range. Yes, we have an option to run the configuration based on IP address or an IP range. So you can see this under this configuration. So every configuration do it, even though it's a patch or a display configuration or a software deployment, you can very well deploy it based on an IP address. You can deploy to multiple IP address or an IP range. And the next one, can website security certificate be deployed to workstation and multiple browsers? Yes, we have an option to deploy the certificates too with the help of Desktop Central. We have an option to call certificate distribution. You can distribute the certificate to a user or a specific computer. The third one, some keyboards and monitors have embedded USB ports. Will those ports also be blocked despite having the keyboard and mouse options excluded from the block? So here, Desktop Central take the information from the device manager. Even if they are using it as a part of a monitor or part of your keyboard, they will be termed as individual devices. We can get the device instance ID from the device management. If you're unable to find the device used inside, you can very well get a use of device manager here, and you can allow it or block it by adding the instance ID to the configuration. And next, can the 90 minutes refresh policy be changed? 90 minutes refresh policy is designed to optimize the bandwidth of and for to reduce or like increase the network performance and reduce the latency in terms of download. So as of now, we are not able to change the 90 minutes refresh policy. How GDPR compliant is Desktop Central? So we have a team which exclusively working on GDPR, and we have come up with a feature where we have the admin or a respective user will be given option to mask any personal identification, which is so it be able to mask personal information while exporting the report. So we have an option in the product itself. So whenever if there is a need of a personal information, you can unmask it and then you can export the report on it, or else you can mask the values and then you can export the report. Second variable, mask it or unmask it, and then you can export the report. So that will save or that will hide your personal identifiable information. And again, if you configure a set of restricted site in the collection wizard, but don't select a web browser, does the restriction apply to the default web browser or all the browsers? By default, if I'm not selecting any browsers for the deployment, it will deploy to the default web browser for that particular endpoint. How secure is my Desktop Central? So you have a security score in the product under the admin security settings. So you can very well increase the security score by enabling HTTPS communication for the agent servers, and also you can import a third-party certificate to increase the score. And moreover, you can log in with a SAML or a two-factor authentication. So we will help you with what practices or what's best practice that will increase your security score. You can follow the leads here, and depends upon that, your score will get increased automatically. Is there a way to optimize the power consumption level in my network computers? Yes, we have power management configuration in Desktop Central. It will helpful for you to create a power schema or delete a power schema or modify an existing power schema from the console itself. You can create that power schema and then get it deployed to the end user's machine. So this is the power management. So you can create your own schema or modify an existing one and get it deployed to the end user's machine. And the ninth question, what happens to the configuration if any one of the target machines are down? We have an option to retry the configuration to get the high success rate. So in case of a failure, it will deploy the configuration during the system startup or else during its refresh policy. You can configure it under the execution settings. You can increase the retry here, how many retries you want to do during the system startup or during the 90 minutes refresh policy. So this will helpful for us to get the high success rate. And again, the 10th question, my user has deleted the created desktop shortcut. Should I redeploy the configuration? There's no need to redeploy it in Desktop Central. You have an option to deploy the configuration in every startup. So during the machine startup, it will check if the configuration is deployed or present in that particular computer. If it is not that, it will redeploy the configuration and make sure the configuration present on the end user's machine and the end users can make use of it. The 11th question, if a workstation is not in domain, can we manage workstations in work groups? Yes, you can manage the machines even though in a work group or a domain or a multiple domain machines or a multiple work group machines can be managed from a central console here. So that's all for today. Rate us 1 to 5 and 5 to be the best. And we have completed the last training session today. In case if you have any queries, you can very well chat with our chat technician, or else in case if you want to have any personalized demo, yes, you can very well ask him to schedule it so that a technical consultant will have a call with you and they will discuss about your infrastructure need and they will recommend the best practice or a best solution for you. Again, thank you all. You all have a great day. Stay safe.